there, ladies and gentlemen of that humble internet. My name is Ryan, aka The Ryeman, and welcome back to more of Ryeman's bizarre adventures in Katawa Shoujo. I'm looking around me a little paranoid right now, because before I started recording, I went to use the bathroom, and there was this big-ass spider. And so I sprayed it with poison. It was in a corner, so it was very awkward to get my foot in there to really smash it good. Anyway, I hit it, and then I looked over at the bottle. I was like, I wonder how long this lasts. How long until I respray the whole perimeter again. And when I looked back, the spider was gone. Gone. Yeah, I'm having one of those moments right now. So I'm once again in a fit of guerrilla warfare against the bug world. Now, my family still twitches the last time that I went to war against nature. There were just dead things everywhere. If I'm sounding a little loopy right now, it's because I took a fuck ton of sleep medication. Ryan, how much? Not important right now. Ryan, isn't that bad for you? Doesn't that make your brain loopy? I'm told if you take too much of that, it makes your brain loopy. Don't worry about that right now. I only wake up in the middle of the night sometimes to see a figure standing in the corner. I think it's Monica. Anyway. Where were we? Day of the festival. Let's go. Maybe it's still early for too many people to show up. I didn't really have any plans for the day myself. There are a few tests this next week that I need to study for, but I shouldn't have a problem with them. I hear some shouting drift up from down below and look to see a group setting up rows of seating before the stage. I gave them a hand in setting it up yesterday because Saki asked me to. Well, how nice of... Oh, I actually went back in time. Okay. But I didn't realize they were setting it up right under my window. I would have words. If someone's orchestra had wakened me because they decided to set it right next to my room, there would be violence. Chisato is directing that pause, by the by, was me trying to remember how to properly say that name that I'm probably still mispronouncing. I just realized as I'm looking over at my OBS, no one can see me moving my cursor around. I should probably look into that. It's not going to be this day, though. People are lucky I don't do this for a living. This is just a hobby in case no one was aware. Chisato is directing a pair of fellow students with chairs under their arms, with the precision of someone on a flight deck of an aircraft carrier. Saki had roped me into helping yesterday purely by chance, or at least that's what she'd claimed if questioned. I had woken up insanely early and was unable to get back to sleep. I had surrendered to the thought of being a long day, and decided to take a walk around campus to kill time before classes started. Something I've started doing more recently this week. I ran into Saki completely by coincidence over by the arts wing, heading back towards her dorm, carrying a gym bag over her shoulder. Joining her on the walk back, I feel like the scene should have transitioned by now! Joining her on the walk back, I found out she had a morning routine of heading to the school pool early before the day truly started. I didn't think much of it, equating it to my morning walk or Emmy's morning runs. After she dropped off her bag, we grabbed breakfast again in the cafeteria, and I asked her how the festival preparations were going. Between bites of bland eggs and burnt toast, I learned everything was nearly ready except setting up the collapsible stage for the performance the day after. Without thinking, I asked if there was anything I could do to help, and sure enough, hours later, I was wrestling the lengths of pipe and various hand tools. Okay, maybe I exaggerate when I say she roped me into it. My stomach growls as I finished taking... There's a fucking gnat! There are going to be so many dead bugs lying everywhere on my property, I swear to God. I'm going to start posting them up on little toothpicks as a warning to the other bugs once I'm done killing the ones in my peripheral vision! My stomach growls as I finish taking the last of my morning medications. I should probably head down to get something to eat. I'm curious to check out the festival anyway, and I like to see the band performance later, especially after skinning my knuckles setting up the stage yesterday. Here we are, familiar scenes, back at the festival. After buying a plastic plate of... I can't pronounce words. I'm a 35-year-old man. After buying a plastic plate of takoyaki from the stall belonging to the class next to ours, I take a seat in the school gardens and watch people pass by as I dig in. It's a bit bland, but I shouldn't complain, as it was fairly cheap and does a good job of curbing my appetite. As I sit there nibbling, I notice that the school grounds are getting more crowded as people file in. I see families of children excitedly dragging their parents around from one event to the next, filled with energy from the sugary treats they carry. Some people are parents or guardians of students, as evidenced by someone in uniform showing them around and pointing out various things. Still others are there by themselves, and I can't help but notice most of these are in the older age bracket. Come to think of it, I noticed that earlier in the week when I went down into town to go shopping. This must be one of those towns where the only people left are those that lived here their whole lives and refused to leave, or those wanting to live out the rest of their lives in one of the increasingly few tranquil places. That must be one of the reasons Yamako's atmosphere is so easygoing and laid back. Not that I mind one bit. I like how calming Yamako is, especially after what happened to Lamy here. That's how my college was. That college isn't around anymore. That closed down very recently. It's quite sad. But not really. Not like I had real connections with it. Anyway, I'm getting off track. My college had the same atmosphere. It was part of a very small town. Really was the only kind of business that drummed through the place anyway. Real laid back, calm, chilling. Complete opposite of all the other colleges that are around New York. Oh no, I doxed my state. Oh no!
You what?
The humidity, though, is another matter entirely. I'm shaken from my thoughts by loud clanging of bells blaring from the school's PA system. I stand up, and a few other people near me share my reaction. I hear the principal make a garbled announcement over it, officially declaring the opening of the festival, already well in full swing. The statement draws varied responses from the people around me. Some smile, others groan, and interestingly enough, most of the students I see don't react at all. I imagine they wouldn't, given that they've been in festival mindset for the last week. When the voices grow silent, everyone gives polite applause before going back to whatever it is they were fucking doing. I stare down at the now empty plate, wondering how I'm going to spend my day. I could go get another plate of takoyaki. This one wasn't that bad.
He's saying it on purpose now.
Ren was working frantically at her mural up until the last moment. I could go see how that turned out. I could go and see what time the band is having its performance. I could check out some of the games that have been set up. Or I could just retreat back to someplace quiet like the rooftop or the library. Still undecided, but opting to move, I throw the plate in the trash bin and lose myself among the flow of people. They all seem to be heading towards the main school building, which seems to be a good place to start as any. As we draw closer, I'm actually surprised to see how many stalls have been set up around the perimeter of the main building. As I glance now over to OBS to make sure I actually started recording, that would have been a tragedy. A few clubs and classes must have opted to have more than one booth. I see stalls hosting all standard games one would find at a festival, along with all the low-quality foods that are just as much of a staple. I make up my mind to start over by the booth at the end of the line and head down. I hear an excited shriek and general applause as I get closer from one of the people gathered around it, but I can't make out the reason, though, as the throng of people surrounding it. A few seconds later, a small girl darts into view holding a plastic jar with a goldfish in it, awkwardly running in her excitement as her parents take long strides to keep up. I have to make a quick sidestep to avoid being crashed into. I would not have. Ryan, please do not say you would have tripped the small child. Fine, I won't. Completely oblivious, the girl careens on, the poor fish being shaken like a baby rattle. The mother gives an apologetic nod as she passes me. Hisao! Ah, it's the girl that I can't think of any more female voices to do. I turn back towards the stall, the gap in humanity letting me get a clear view of who's running it. I see Saki rising to her feet, her lower body being blocked out by a very large fish tank at waist level. She waves to me and I find myself waving back as I pick up my pace. Saki had mentioned that the band was setting up a stall during her argument with Shizune earlier in the week, but I honestly didn't know what type of stall it was going to be. If this image is from the original, I don't know. I can't remember. You folks at home can help me remember if this was an image from the original Katawa Shoujo or something new. That's not me plugging people to go watch the entirety of the saga. I come to to stop in front of the booth and stare down the tank to see the surface rippling with the cream and orange bodies of dozens of small goldfish. Taking in the rest of the surroundings, I see a few boxes of paper nets near the back of the booth, along with some colorful banners explaining the rules to those not familiar. So, this is what the band is up to. Yep. At least for a while. We have that booth over there, too. 2 stalls? You weren't kidding about being busy. We're not on our own. The art club has these few I'm sorry, folks. My brain is dumb. It stutters sometimes. The art club has these few booths, and we're rotating shifts during the day. Band's running the show for another hour? Then drama takes it over while we have our performance. I would love to see a performance by the students of Yamako. Ryan, that's not what you really want to say. I think people at home know exactly the exact words that I want to piece together. The sentence I want to form, but I really don't need people yelling at me right now. Just know I would love to watch the students of Yamaku putting on Hamlet or something. Hi there. Future Editor Ryan here. I just wanted to take this moment to clarify a few things. We all know what I wanted to say, and exactly the way I wanted to phrase it. I was going to keep it out, except for maybe a visual gag. But when I went onto the free AI art generator that I typically use, and I punched in the exact words, Hamlet performed by cripples, this is what I got. What is that? I'm crying. What is happening? What is this leg? Is that a face? They're caressing a face. And what is he holding? Oh! I'm going to hell, but I have these images saved. I'm going to hell in a handbasket. I'm showing Satan these. Woo! Anyway, I just wanted to share that with everyone. Back to the video. It's fair. It would be if half the people bothered showing up. Just as quickly as the club descends, just as quickly as the cloud descends on her face, it lights up again as she looks off to the side. Sorry, but it looks like we have someone who wants to try. Next to me, I see a young boy gawking wide-eyed at the fish tank, completely hypnotized by the motions of the creatures within. I, too, look surprised like I've never seen fish before. Saki squats to bring herself to eye level with him across the top of the tank, getting his attention. Would you like to try and catch one? His eyes get bigger as they make contact with Saki's. Okay. I have to try and do my best little boy. No! I have to do my best little boy voice. Oh my god, I really need to just do multiple takes, or at least try the concept of multiple takes. Can I? Mm-hmm. That is, if it's okay with your parents. The child looks up towards his mom, his face plastered with the purest look of expectation and longing that I've ever seen. What makes it even better is that Saki joins her gaze with his, matching his expression perfectly. It's all that I can do to keep from bursting out laughing. What mother could stand up under that barrage? Not this one. She sighs as she hands over a few paper notes to Saki while the boy gives an enthusiastic clap of his hands and emits a squeal of delight. Saki turns and puts the money away in a box behind the counter, then turns back with a paper net already in hand. Now be careful. Pick one that you like, but choose a good one. If you let the net stay in the water, it gets weaker. And if you try to pick one up that's too big, he may break out. With laser precision, he focuses on one he likes and dips the net in. Sensing danger, the target fish makes a beeline for the other side of the tank when the net approaches. The boy's brow furrows in concentration as he gives chase. You got him! Now just lift him up in the net carefully! The boy follows the advice and actually manages to get the net above the surface of the water. Just as he starts to smile, however, the goldfish flails violently and tears through the fragile paper. It lands back in the tank with an audible ploop, clearly imitating the youngster's spirits. All of watching give a sympathetic groan as the fish dives at full speed towards the safety of the bottom of the tank. The boy looks absolutely crushed. I almost had him! Saki gives the parents a wink over the top of their son's head, then crouches down to his level again. That was so close! Do you think you could get him if you tried again? Yeah! Alright, one more time then. This is not how I expected to be spending my Saturday evenings. Saki reaches one hand under the counter. She pulls out another net. This net looks a little different, although I can't quite put my finger on why before the boy snatches it and dunks it in, intent on trying again. The fish puts up a valiant fight, but in the end gets pinned against the glass again. The boy lifts it out of the water, and at the critical moment it starts to thrash around. This time, however, it isn't so lucky, and the paper holds. I got him, Mommy! There are at least 42 people in this world right now that would probably pay good amounts of money to never hear me utter that phrase in that voice ever again. Oh my god. I need to start recording when I'm on drugs or something. This is me sober. Actually, wait, that's a lie. There was literally one video in my library that I recorded high as balls off pain medication that was given to me after I had all 4 of my wisdom teeth drilled out of my skull. Don and Mark were there! Oh my god, I have to look up that video again. I'll have to link that so people know what gaming with high Ryan is actually like. The boy shouts full of accomplishment. Saki then takes the net from him and swiftly deposits his prize into a waiting jar. Good job! Now make sure you keep him a nice clean bowl and feed him every day, okay?
I will!
He takes the jar with both hands from Saki. The father looks amused at the whole situation, having not said a word the entire exchange up to this point. Okay. I have to do new voices, but this time it's male voices. Oh my goodness. I'm actually stumped. Alright. First of all, how do I fucking say that name? Yutaki? You talking too much, Ryan.
I'm going to kill you, and then kill you again.
Alright. Okay, I'm so sorry. Serious. I gotta do voice acting. Come on, Yutaki. Let's see some more, and then we'll take him home, okay? There's Daddy Ryan, okay? There's Daddy Ryan, boys.
Okay, Dad!
Wow, they even... Okay, he's fully named character now.
Thank you!
He bows slightly before dragging his parents away, high on his recent victory. I'm just left there staring, trying to piece together what just happened. There's nothing to piece together, lad! Keep forgetting. This house is a little stunad sometimes. Saki grabs a nearby towel and wipes the water off her hands. She puts both the net and the towel underneath the counter again when she notices me looking at her. Okay, what just happened? What? Saki answers, staring at me with an innocent grin. Too innocent. That net. Oh, that? Maybe he was just really lucky. The stare I give her lets her know I'm not buying it for a second. Uh-huh. And are you going to say you didn't help at all? Will you believe me if I say no? Probably not. Then it doesn't matter what I answer, does it? I think I mentioned this before. I like her. I sigh, admitting defeat, and move to change the topic of conversation. When did you set all this up? I didn't see you when you were putting up the stage yesterday, which, I may point out, you asked for my help with. Just because I wasn't there doesn't mean I wasn't busy. And besides, you should know better than to ask me to lift heavy objects by now. I have 13 different jokes I could make right now. 8 of which are at my own expense. We're gonna move on. You wouldn't want me to tattle on you to Shizune that you weren't giving 100%, would you? Alright, you win. You're welcome, by the way. Honestly, I do appreciate it. We're not the only ones using it today either. You're welcome. And where did the fish come from? We get them in bulk down at the pet store in town. They're cheap because they use them as feeder fish. The jars are just from the food service place, and we order the nets online. There's many more fish in the tank than there are jars from what I can see, unless there's a hidden cachet that I'm not seeing. What do you do with the leftover fish at the end of the night? Please say you eat them. Please say you eat them. You will become one of my top 60 characters if you just say right now, we eat them, of course. We've already paid for them, so we just have to, so we just end up giving them away at the end of the festival to anyone who wants one. Or 2. Or 10. With another sigh, she sits down in one of the folding chairs and starts to fan herself with a piece of paper. I notice her forehead is slightly damp. It looks like the humidity and heat might be getting to her too. What did you do to get to sleep last night? You look completely drained. Not that late, but I was up pretty early. Nobody's been sleeping much this week. Getting ready for the festival has been hectic enough. Plus, I've had to practice with the rest of the band for our show in a bit. I'll be glad when it's over. I might just have to skip out the rest of the festival and go straight to bed. I lean against the edge of the stall, feeling my own lack of sleep catching up with me after hearing her mention it. Aren't you supposed to, run the booth for the rest of the day after you play? Let just Sato do it. She was supposed to be here already helping me, but she had to go set up chairs. I know she wasn't doing it by herself, and it doesn't take 4 hours even if she was. 4 hours? Fuck. Don't tell me you've been here the whole time. Since about 8 this morning, yeah. So you haven't had anything to eat? No, not since last night. There's another reason I'm going to smash Chisato over the head with my violin the next time I see her. I can get something for you if you want. I have your object to hit her with. Saki looks generally... Oh, to eat! Oh, Saki looks generally grateful for a second at the gesture. Then looks around to see who else is manning the adjacent booths. I always, immediately jump to violence. I don't know why. Her gaze settles on another student that I've seen earlier during the week. A girl around Saki's height with long purple hair pulled into small loops on either side of her head. Purple hair pulled into small loops on either side of her head. Why does that sound so familiar? I must be going crazy. Noriko? I'm gonna pretend like that's accurate. Noriko? Saki asks, getting her attention. The girl snaps her head around. I'm famished. Is it alright if I cut out a bit early to get some food before the performance starts? Noriko ponders this for a moment, checking to see how heavy the traffic is around the booths at the exact moment. Sure. I don't think it should be too much to handle. She answers in a small, shy voice. Too late. I did not read that in a small, shy voice! Thanks. I owe you. Saki quickly retrieves her cane from the back of her chair and sits on the edge of the booth, swinging one leg over, followed by the other. She holds out her hand, expectantly towards me, waiting for me to help her up. I oblige, and we turn towards the direction of the food stalls. So, what are you in the mood for? The fattiest, greasiest thing I can get. She didn't say what I kind of wanted her to say early before, but I think from that line, yeah, she broke the top list. She broke the top 60. Her favorite characters, top 60. Also, the fattiest, greasiest thing you can get. I have 27.5 jokes. 23 3/4 of them are insulting myself. I will not name any of them. We're moving on. So, basically, the worst stuff for you that you can find. Screw being healthy. Right now... right now I need the calories. You don't want to try whatever deep-fried horrors? Deep-fried horror! That's a title! I grimace in revulsion. Someone please smack my boy up the backside of his head. Ugh, no thanks. Oh, come on. It's not like it's gonna... Oh my god. Oh, come on! It's not like it's gonna give you a heart attack! Ouch. Both my mind and my body come to a screeching halt when I hear that. Oh, and then the sad music has to kick in. Suddenly, with that simple sentence, all the joy and fun of the day fly out of my head with reckless abandon. And ever present at the edge of my consciousness, the dark thoughts I've been keeping at bay are more than eager to fill the newly vacated space. Damn, I've had too many of those days to count. Saki, for her part, has no idea what she just said. Nor would she, as the topic of my reason for being in Yamako has never seemed to come up in the chats that we've had this last week. Nevertheless, the sudden stop and palpable change in mood from me is enough to clue her in that something is wrong. She stops half a step in front of me and turns towards me, confusion written on her face. Hisao? No, I guess it wouldn't it? I try to shrug it off a bit, but failing miserably with my tone. Saki's amber eyes look at me with an intensity I've never seen directed at me before, searching me, studying me. Her brow furrows slightly, as I can see her mind racing to figure out what this means. A quick glance at my chest, almost too fast for me to see if I was staring back at her, and I can almost read her thoughts as she stares through me. I've done the same routine in the mirror more than once this last week. I know what she sees. A new student, transferred suddenly to Yamako after the year had already started. The type of transfer means something serious and sudden must have happened. And yet, you never know from looking on the outside. All you see is an outwardly healthy-looking boy. No missing eyes, ears, limbs, or anything else like that. No walker, wheelchair, or cane to get around. Nothing really eye-catching except the pale lackness created by a hospital stay that would have followed whatever that something was. The only logical conclusion based on this, and my reaction to what I've just said, is that I ended up in Yamako because of something to do with my heart. Almost as if I was speaking aloud, Saki finally puts enough pieces of the puzzle together as I finish my internal monologue. Her eyes go wide and she brings her free hand up to her mouth. Gods. I'm sorry, Hisao. I didn't realize. It's okay. I mean, it's not like I told you. Saki nods and averts her gaze. It's not like I didn't have plenty of chances to earlier. I haven't really told anyone except for Rin, who asked outright. I suppose I'm one of the lucky few that require more than a quick glance to figure out whatever their problem is. I look around at the people around us, feeling desperately uncomfortable. Sadly, this doesn't seem to help my mood at all. It's almost if I can feel their looks, both at the school in general and towards the other students in particular. The way they openly gawk when someone has their back to them, but then quickly turn away when the object of their attention turns in their direction, as if guilty of being caught. Such as staring at someone climbing a flight of stairs. This is going downhill fast. I think I'm still getting used to it myself. Well, you can't use the new guy excuse forever, you know. You learn to adjust to all of it. I guess so. It just gets to me at times. But still, baby steps, right? Speaking of steps, she turns her body back towards the food stalls and inclines her head to make sure that I get the hint. Can we keep walking? I'm still starving. And just like that, the oppressive atmosphere deflates. How does she manage to switch from carefree to serious and back again in the span of an eye blink? Can one really simply brush off these types of things that easily? I guess you could if you gotten used to it. Or maybe your sense of humor is much drier and darker than my own. Her and I would probably be banned from being in the same room together. She's not quite on my level of dry humor and dark humor, but, you know, She's at least inside the same ballpark, and that frightens some people. Sure. I stammer out quickly when I realize I haven't answered her question. We resume our course towards the far end of the main building. The sense of curiosity over the previous exchange simply won't stop nagging me, and I can't stop myself. Can I ask you a question? Why didn't you ask why I'm here? At Yamako, I mean. I just figured you'd tell me if you wanted to. She put simply in a matter-of-fact tone that seems to scold me for thinking the answer would be anything but. You haven't asked me about my cane either. I've seen you looking at it, and every time I catch you at it, you look so damn guilty. I rub the back of my neck, feeling more guilty than ever as my face heats up. When that seems to be the only reply I'm able to muster, Saki stops and waits for me to face her. You're still stuck on it that much? Okay, look, Asao. You can't tiptoe around people like this, or yourself. Everyone here has a reason that they're here. She points down the walkway towards a student in a wheelchair being pushed by a family member, and then gestures at my chest. Sometimes it's obvious, sometimes it's not. I don't know what exactly happened to you, but please, take it from someone who's been where you are for a lot longer than you've been. We're not normal, and that's fine. Saki. I know it takes time to adjust, but you know what? Deliberately going out of your way to treat someone like they're some sort of, I don't know, extra normal person makes them feel 10 times worse. It just rubs it in that they aren't. We all get enough of that from people around us, so don't you start doing it too. Not even to yourself. Especially not to yourself. Ellipses. Ellipses. My first reaction is anger! My second reaction is that she's right. I can't manage to reply. Saki sighs and turns her eyes away from me. There's only one thing that could break this tension. And that's deep-fried horror! I'm sorry. I didn't mean for that to sound so harsh. It's just... so many people that end up here fall into the same trap. Some are like Lily, or Shizune, or Rin, where they're born with issues, so... I'm just making double sure that everyone listed here was in fact born with those issues. Because not everyone was. Emmy. Where they're born with issues so they haven't lost anything. Then others come here because they lost everything. Car crash, heart attack, diving accident. Some doctor tells them that there's a tumor in their brain that will kill them before they're 30. Doesn't matter what happens, just that something does. She pauses for a breath, letting it out slowly, as if trying to order her thoughts in her head before speaking again. They get here. They run into people who treat them like they're made of glass, and they shut down. They never accept what happens because people around them keep trying to sweep it under the rug like it never happened. So they feel like failures because they can't get over it when someone is trying to tell them that they should. And they just give up. Ellipses. Nobody says it's okay to feel sorry for yourself once in a while. It's okay to think that whatever happened to you is unfair. It's okay to get pissed off and cry and scream and punch a wall or throw something. So they just get in their own little world of pity and never come out of it. I don't want to see that happen to you, Visal. I'm stunned. That's the only word that I can use to describe it. And it's so inadequate. In the months since my heart attack, everyone around me, my parents, my friends, my doctors, even especially Iwanako, who Iwanako ain't shit, by the way, anyone who's read through literally all of Katawa Shoujo knows, have all tried their best to cheer me up, to make me feel normal. It's painfully obvious when it's forced. Saki's completely right. It did start to wear at me. My parents even tried to be optimistic about Yamako, saying it was an opportunity. By that point, I was so pissed off and wallowing in self-pity that I was resenting every good-natured attempt around me out of habit. But trying their best to make sure the full weight of what happened never hit me, I still haven't truly been able to mourn for anything I've lost. Thinking back, I did deal with a small handful of people during my hospital stay that were frank and open with me, and I appreciate it. I even find Muto's concerns and nurses' lecturing refreshing, even when compared to the way people were treating me beforehand. They haven't tried to avoid or tiptoe around my issues, or the problems of anyone else for that matter. By addressing those issues, they just make them another part of everyday life, and not some black sheep or elephant in the room. There's a very large difference between someone telling you what you want to hear, and someone telling you what you need to hear. Sometimes, you don't even recognize the difference until someone does. Well, whatever it was that Saki just did. Thanks. A small smile comes to my face with the sheer irony and absurdity of it all. I needed to hear that. Damn straight you did. My smile turns into a laugh, just like it always seems to when talking with her. Damn, this has been going on for 40 minutes, and based on the intro and outros that I do, it's going to be more than a 40-minute video. I know there can't be that much left in the festival chapter, and therefore this act, but I'm probably just going to have to save it for the next episode. I'll probably just go straight into it, and when this is uploaded, it's probably going to be uploaded back to back with the next chapter, you know? See how far exactly I can get. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Where's my save? Okay, Debussy. We're going to leave this off here, and probably going to go straight into the next recording. So, not going to be much of a break, or the break will be however long you guys want it to be. Until the next time, stay awesome out there, everybody. Adios.